What's good, everybody? What's good? How we doing? My chat's already broken. Yo, isn't this early? I mean, shit, I can try. I gotta go, so I'll miss the stream, but I sent 2 bangers. Alright, bet. What's up, Kelly B? What's up, Dino A? Let's go. Alright. Guys, I've been listening to the Jane Remover album, which literally dropped yesterday, like on repeat. It's like so bad. I literally can't stop listening to it. It's crazy. It's so good. Ooh, it's so good. Alright, let me switch this. I'm tired, so if I ramble a bit or whatever, just yell at me in chat. It's all good. Yeah, let's get into it. We're starting off with Green Dragon. He isn't even here. What's up, Dino A? What's up? Alright, let's get into it. Ooh, is this more Retro Future? I hope so. House 3 drops. Okay. I like this build. This build is cool. Oh, okay. Sounds amazing. My bro is nasty with it. Yo, what's up, Alexa? I really like this version so far. This is definitely the best version of this track, undoubtedly. These flow swaps are really great here. I mean, honestly, as this stands, this is a pretty good example of, like, a finished song. There's still things I could feedback you on, but for the most part, everything is here. This is one of those things where it's really in the realm of taste, because I think this has everything. Break is good. You don't have, like, a intro sweep, but you don't need one. You can just drop right into the song. It's cool. Kind of have, like, cool melody. Everything's flowing. Nice transition. We get into the drop stuff. I like the build. This sounds amazing now as well. Only like this maybe feels a little less powerful. It might be something that you just add like just a little bit more volume to, because I don't think it necessarily needs more power in the sense of like adding a whole bunch of layers. It just feels like this particular instance is a little weak, because later on you add more layers. Like here it sounds fine. And I don't know whether it's just got more notes in the chords and that's why it sounds louder and more powerful. But feels like here. Sounds a little underwhelming, which is only problematic because it's the first hit, but yeah, it doesn't matter as well. I think the whole vibe is here. Maybe like in this second verse, sorry. It'd kind of be nice to have like sonically one unique element to this verse, just to distinguish it from this, because it's we kind of have like the melody on a different lead, which is fine, but it's I think it would be cool to have one, or you can have multiple, but like one distinguishable element in the background of the track that doesn't automatically fit in with everything else. Like it could even just be as simple as like an Atmos, an Atmos bed of a train passing by. I feel like even that is enough to give, and I feel like that would actually be a good option because it will also ground the verse specifically in a sort of place and time that people are familiar with, and I think it'll just make the break specifically sound more alive, because you don't need that in the drop. The biggest thing though is like this melody here. I think it has too many notes. Like it's I feel like something more like that is like a little better, because you have a lot going on here, and it feels like, yeah, the melody on top is doing too much. It'd be one thing if it was the only thing playing throughout, but then you have these extra like chord lead layers playing, and it's just the lead isn't giving up any space to these other elements, so it feels like they're all just kind of piling on top of each other. So I would say less notes and just like make the melody a little more focused on like, or this drop more focused on like, is it about this new melody, or is it about, and if it is, either the other elements have to make room, or the melody itself has to be a little more cooperative with those other lead elements if you want to keep them. Other than that, everything else is great. The flow swaps here are perfect, because you kind of keep everything the same and it's only the flow changing. Yeah, that's super great. Makes it super nice now too. Merchy test Kelly B flip. I wanted to, yeah, I'm sure we'll get quite a lot of these now over the coming weeks of like just Skrillex flips. I still need to listen to the album. I just haven't gotten around to it. Because I'm due to listen to it with someone else. Want to flip one of Skrillex's new tracks? Someone sounded sick. Okay. Chat, how we feeling? Wait, I didn't even read chat. My internet broke as fuck? Yeah, that happens. Might have to steal that train idea. Go for it, man. Wait, what the fuck? I was first, damn. Yeah, you were first. I know you have another one as well. I just put it at the end of the queue, but I'll definitely get to it. Super great track, Green Dragon. Absolute banger. saw lead is dirty. Da 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 da. Okay. I feel like for me, it still feels like you have a couple of different flow ideas, which is good. And I feel like overall your flows have been like all of these are good. It just feels like you got to settle on something. Feels like somewhere there's one too many patterns. Also, I'm not a big fan of this switch here. This initial it feels like it's kind of off. This like it somehow is just not hitting, and I think it's a combination of the envelope, like the ADSR, being it's sort of in a bit of a uncanny valley where it's not quite a long like but it's also not a like really tight. It's sort of in this like halfway place. So I think if you go in one direction or the other, or have it do like something that's like actually moving the envelope a lot, both of those are cool options. That's actually a really cool automation you can do, by the way, on like a macro, is to have a macro basically open the envelope and then close the envelope. And that can even just be taking the tension point of the decay and just having it go from like, you know, really rounded up to really rounded down, which maybe you're doing that already. I don't know, but that's something I just thought of. It could be cool. The dirty little solid is great. It's nicely tucked in there as well. I just feel like here, if you want to go for this vocal as the lead, as like the main element, we need to have more drums. Because there's not enough energy here. And energy doesn't necessarily mean just bass. I just mean like movement and character. Because it feels like here there's all of these moving basses and it's crazy. So here we need percussions and hats. And I think if you just experiment with adding... Realistically, the best stuff I can have is like find other percussion loops and then just rebuild them. Like just look at the pattern and rebuild it with other sounds. Like for example, the percussions in my free Patreon. No, but actually like I think the stuff out of my Patreon is actually pretty solid for this. But you can literally just take anything that you have that's percussion and yeah, just use a pattern that exists that you know already sounds pretty good if you drop it in as a sample. And you could even just sample a percussion loop. But if you want to get really into it, you could just rebuild something in your own project with different sounds and then just start experimenting with removing some percussions, changing up the pattern a bit until you get something that really works. And it will be already unique. Kyokon, my number 2 background streamer. Why am I not number 1? Who's your number 1? W bro, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Can I fix those things? Thanks for the feedback. No problem, my dude. Whoa, we got another Late Eyes track. Cynic. This is a cool way of spelling it. Also, this is a cool logo you have. This is quite identifiable, so good job on that. Ooh, is this like a harmonic minor type of situation? Might not be specifically harmonic minor, but it sounds like it. I really this is such a cool idea. This is such a cool idea. Virtual is my background streamer. Fair enough. Phyrogian scale. You're right, it is Phrygian. Man, this is so cool. I love how much percussion there is going on. Vowel bass. Why is my chat broken? There we go. Perfect. Okay. I feel like my reaction was so subdued. It's mostly just us like taking it in. I think it's also like this is an interesting place where it feels like this would make such a great track, not at all for the headline, but for like the openers to play, where it kind of it has atmosphere and like club vibes, but really just kind of lets you sink in. Like I would love to have a drink to this, and let the really people who are really excited just kind of like flow out to this. Anyway, I would say intro arrangement the arrangement makes more sense in the context of the whole song, but the intro still feels long in the sense that it doesn't feel like we're developing at a rate that's appropriate for the length. Like here, I think we need some sort of extra little moving atmos, and I really mean little. Like I'm talking like a just one note, kind of can even have like some volume automation, something that's kind of coming in and like has like a slow attack on a big reverb, so something like that, right? Just to fill up and create some sense of movement early enough in the intro that it keeps us engaged, because 25 seconds is a long time, and you do seem to need it for this melody to kind of sink its teeth in. But I think you got to balance that out with having some sort of extra element of engagement in the background or even in the foreground, I guess. I think the track is overall also pleading for like a vocal really badly. Like it's missing that hook to sort of fill in this missing space, because I think I don't know if this is a guitar. It's probably some other more ethnic string instrument. I mean, you have a couple of other cool elements, but it's very heavily reverbed. It's it's not in the front, right? And a vocal in the front to really would just complete the composition. But anyway, I think the thing about the drop that I feel like it just didn't get me is two things. One, I think, is the sub feels like it's quite messy. It's like quite undefined. Like it doesn't have a strong movement or pulse to it in any way. It's kind of just like low end, but it's low end without any shape. It's just kind of, it's like an impact, but like an impact that just kind of sustains forever. But it doesn't have like a shape or a movement to it that I can groove to. Like I can tell there's some sort of automation or like LFO to it. But it feels like it has neither upper harmonics that help me to follow that LFO or additional rhythm to create some sort of push or pull or anything. It's kind of there. I also just think it needs to be louder, and that's just, you need more harmonics on it. I think you have the space for it. But I think, interestingly enough, the other thing is the hi-hat pattern, which you kind of fix over here, in the sense that you have a simple hi-hat pattern, which then has a bunch of extra percussions and stuff which absorb your attention, but here you don't have this. And the hi-hat sound, I think it's maybe one part the hi-hat itself, which here works fine because it's not meant to be drawing your attention too much. It's just kind of meant to be there to add sort of pulse, and it's this driving percussion. But here, it just feels like it's not interesting enough. So you may want to consider either one, maybe changing the hi-hat, and two, changing the pattern, or also changing the envelope of the hat in some way so that each hit is a different length, because that will help. To my ears, I hear that this is a sample played the exact same length at the exact same pitch over and over and over and over again. And that gets really boring really fast. Especially at this speed, like at the rate at which you're playing it, it gets quite boring. I wouldn't see this played at a club, not mine anyway. Yeah, that's fair. I see this in the background and relaxed listening. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that's it though. I really like this. It's a cool idea. I just think you need to work on shaping it a bit. Alright, next up. Luthre. Abstract artwork. We dig it. Alright, let's see. Let's see what type of chords we got this week. You probably made this in 7 minutes. Yeah. Interesting. Funnily enough, here, I think this is the first time in a while you haven't added like one of these giga mega tonal snares. And I kind of like it in the sense that I think this snare needs a bit more top end for this track. Which I think is just make this snare a little brighter. Or if it has multiple layers, take the bright layer and just bring it up a little bit. But I think also you could mix in a tonal snare like every 2 or 4 bars as an effect, because you don't have just like a 1-2 kick snare pattern. You got a couple of snares in there. So I think the ones that come in on the 3, I guess. I think those I would layer it with. It doesn't have to be like completely over the top, but just like a longer, more impactful snare, because it will help. It will help in both directions in the sense that it will emphasize that baseline snare pattern, and it will make the other ones feel like more of a setup. So you kind of just overall get a more satisfying pattern because it's a little more dynamic. It's not just kind of similar to this Cynic and Late Eyes one, where the hat is just kind of playing with pattern in the sense that it has a rhythm, but it's kind of remaining the same. Here, the snares also remain too much the same, and you have too many of them that are just the same sample. So I think just layering an extra snare on the 3, I guess, is it the way to go. I kind of also want to hear more ear candy in here. I understand you probably didn't spend a ton of time on this because most of the tracks you sent me aren't like, I spent 30 hours on this. It's like, yeah, this was like 90 minutes, but the core is here. I think the next progression now would be like adding extra sauce in there to help accentuate and create uniqueness in the different bars and chords, and play around with finding ways to make the progression more unique by adding extra ear candy and stuff. Gorillaz Feel Good Inc. Alvin Moe and Asunda remix. Asunda! Alright, let's take a listen. Oh my god. I'm gonna get copyright struck. I can just feel it. That hat is so loud. It's been so long since I heard the original Feel Good Inc. that I don't remember how much of this is original and how much of this is new. I feel like here though you could add, I mean, you might want to leave this just as it is, but it would be nice to add a little bit of stuff in the stereo. Yeah, you could totally add some stuff in the Atmos. Very clubby. Loudest hi-hat ever. I'm not sure I have much feedback for this, to be honest, because it feels like you kind of got everything. Yeah, I think here just adding some extra layers into the sides, like some extra Atmos elements, would just, considering how dry the drop is as well overall, it's like very in your face. So you have a lot more leeway to like make the break feel more spacious, because it will help accentuate this really in your face sound by giving it some contrast. Yeah, I really don't know. Everything else in here is fine. It feels like this track is like not for me, you know? Like this is definitely something to be played out. It's to be played live, and in that context it does everything it needs to. I feel like you guys kind of nailed it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious if you guys will make a longer version. You could maybe also go crazier in your extended. Because I feel like you're playing it quite safe here. But maybe that's a good thing. If you're going to play this live and you kind of just want like a very... What is this image, brother? Damn. That's my reaction when I go through my old IDs though. My internet is still working. It should be fine. Well, maybe someone will yell at me if my stream... Oh, is my stream broken? Never mind, we're good. We should be fine. Let's take a listen to this. Perfect. Wait, when was the last time we had a Future Bounce track on here? It feels like it's been months. Damn, this feels like weirdly nostalgic now. Oh, crack my back. Hell yeah. Just move the camera down. There we go. Oh. Alright. Just prepare my EQ. My chat already knows what I'm about to do. Okay. Couple things. One, I'll just kind of get this out of the way first. I think you overall have like a cool palette here. It does feel like it's going after a pretty specific sound, but that's fine. I think for me, the rhythm of the melody is fine. Kind of generic, but it works. It just feels like the pitch is not quite there. Like the actual notes don't really have a cohesive, like, emotional direction. It kind of just feels like da 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 da. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's hitting yet. So I would say maybe experiment more with this, and also this da 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 thing also doesn't. And it's the da 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 da. Could be like an interesting version, because this da 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 doesn't. It doesn't feel like it's giving me a particular emotion. And I would experiment with like a couple of higher notes, because it feels like you kind of trapped yourself into like using the same notes, which sometimes is all you need. Sometimes if you find the right notes that like really work with a certain chord or chord progression, that just you just need the melody to hit those like 2 or 3 notes. That's fine. But here it feels like you do need that extra range from the melody to uh, actually express the emotion. So definitely explore a little bit more your scale and see where you can create more movement and go from your thirds to your sevenths or whatever music theory tells you. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the mids, because it feels like there's no mids in here, which is kind of killing the track. So this is just me like messing around a little bit with the EQ just to change the overall shape of the balance. So obviously I'm also taking some volume out when I'm EQing it, but it was just using Taiga for you as a reference. Yeah, I mean, if that's the sound you want to go for, that's for sure. Personally, to me, it feels like the way I've EQ'd this, all I'm doing here for the most part is boosting mids and even a considerable amount of like those low mids. Now you will have to do this in the mix where you can actually affect the particular sounds that need this extra boost. But I feel like it's mostly in the leads and chords where you really need this extra uplift. And then also removing some of the 200 hertz out of the bass, which feels like it's really... There's an effect or like an EQ curve called the disco smile, which is very popular for dance music. And I think it works for club tracks, and it has always worked well for club tracks, because then what they do is just slap an acapella over a club track and it's like a great mix. For melodic club stuff, I feel like it's something that a lot of new artists with less mixing experience frequently make this choice, or like I see it as like a bit of a mistake, which is to like carve away all the mids so you get the clean mix, when the mids have a lot of the emotion. Because like to me this sounds much more emotional. Like let me hear the chords, let the chords be in front, let the lead be present, because right now it's just kind of only the bass, and it's not even the really harmonic feeling parts of the bass. It's kind of the more, to me, like dead bits. Or not dead bits, but like they sound a bit boomy and muddy. And then the last thing, and I think this could be really cool to help the breaks, is to layer the strings. Because the string is actually really good on its own. It's kind of quite clearly played from a plugin, but that can be okay and I think the way to make this better is to layer a unique and kind of weird sound with the string. They obviously have to complement each other and work together, but adding an extra weird layer to the strings, you could also just add more strings, but I think you'd benefit more from having an extra weird layer, will essentially get you to a point where you kind of have a new instrument that sounds kind of like a string, because it's got like one part string, and then you add some weird element that fits together with it, and it creates something that probably has the feel of a string, but is has a little bit of an extra texture to it and sounds a bit different. Okay, that's what I got for you. Oh, you could also have maybe some more like static tonal atmospheres. I have a couple in my Patreon. I'm forgetting which weeks it is. I'll take a look. If I go into FL, I have a couple of these that are good examples. Let me switch to this. Is it week 11? Yeah, this. Now, I'm not saying it has to be specifically this one. This is probably wouldn't fit well in the track, but I'm saying just something like this that has, you know, a fairly, it's like one note or maybe two notes that work really well. Something softer would work better, like something like this, which has a considerable amount of movement, sound-wise, but, you know, and a lot of like automation and fluctuation in it, but doesn't harmonically mess up your progression in any way, or like distract from the core of what your chords are trying to, the story your chords are trying to tell. But it helps you to fill up the mix and also create this movement so you can keep your main elements simple and still have, like, all your favorite artists are doing this in the background, and they're just really good at creating these extra layers in their songs. I think someone who's really good at this is, for example, Brooks, but even Mesto, who like will find sounds that we all kind of have access to and use them to create, like, and implement them in ways to create really subtle atmosphere, while retaining that simplicity in his core elements. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let me check the jot form. Kyokan again. Disconsent said sent two. Okay. Dayon away. Okay, we'll play this here. Okay. Next up, Discontent. Let's get it. Oh, man, I love your graphic art style so much. It keeps getting better as well. Like, it keeps getting more detailed while retaining the same style, which I love. Wow. Yeah. Wow. It's insane how skilled you are, man. This is crazy. Like your tracks have so much dynamics and dimension to them now, and the mixes are great. It's just crazy. I would say for this, the only one or two pieces of feedback I would give are, if you're using any tuning for your vocals, you may want to just increase the retune speed a bit, because these vocals feel quite pitchy. But if you like the sound of that, then ignore that. It's just, for me personally, this is one of those situations where I would say either I just retake the vocals, but also I'm a big fan of just like, let it be tuned. But that's the style of music I make. I understand that for this type of stuff, it's preferable to keep it natural. I wonder if there's an intermediary, though, between a little bit of tuning to make sure that everything is still harmonically a little more tight without compromising the natural vibes. But that's something that I can't really help you more with, other than just asking the question, is there room for tuning or more tuning? And then the other thing is maybe like a different kick, because it feels like this kick is getting a little buried by the bass. It's like it's a nice soft kick. It just feels like it's, the transient is getting quite, it's not getting a lot of impact, because it's so soft, But I think the bigger issue is just that it's kind of long. It's like boom instead of a boom boom boom. I feel like you may want to shorten the tail. Like I don't think you want to get rid of the thumpiness of the kick, but just maybe take the tail and just tighten it up, because I feel like that will help the track breathe a little more. But maybe we'll end up being too choppy. I'm not exactly sure. What you chatting, Green Dragon? Disconnect needs to be studied. This guy is not getting popular, but yeah, I fully agree. He's so cracked. You know who you remind me of actually with this song? You remind me of Drolo. I feel like Drolo is one of those artists as well that like just makes the most insane music. And like now is finding a lot of success, but you know, kind of like just in the background making the craziest stuff. You just no one's like talking about it. It's just like, oh yeah, Drolo exists. Oh yeah, we'll go listen to some. I'm gonna throw this in my playlist, and every now and then you're like this happens to me as well with Drolo's music, where I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, oh, it's a Drolo track. Of course it is. Duh. Why wasn't that the first thing that occurred to me? But absolute banger. Absolute banger. First time ever doing this genre, I found it fun. Oh my god, Dying Away bass house era? Okay, I don't know where is the bass of. Oh my god, 3, 2, 1, drop it. The vibes on here are crazy. The mix is leaving so much to be desired, but the overall vibe of this is crazy. Like the flows are really good. Even this is like super cool. I think, yeah, just the sound design feels like it does feel like you processed it in like a tin can VST, where you were like, come filter my whole track, go for it. Idea wise, it's cool. I would honestly like to hear like a full version of this track. Like if you decided you really like it, like finish it, or more so than finish it, complete an arrangement of it and see, does this work as a song? Do I like it? And then decide if you're going to finish it. This is something I started doing with the stuff I'm working on recently, and it makes such a difference once you hear a full version with the full arrangement. And I didn't used to do this. I used to be the person with like one break and one drop, and then it'd be like, how do I make the full song now? And just getting a full arrangement, even if it sucks. And just seeing like, okay, does this structure make sense? Does it sound like a song? World of difference. Also, you start thinking about it like a song and not like an FLP, which definitely I suffer from as well, where I'm just like, this FLP I'm working on. Sample Goes Dirty, Dynamite collab with me. I'm gonna make this shine. Honestly, dude, that would be such a banging collab if you two worked on this. I feel like you have the knowledge, Green Dragon, to actually like make it pop. Speaking of Green Dragon, looky who we have easy here. Ooh. Ooh. Ba bo ba. Ba ba ba. I'm a big sucker for this lead. Let's go. Yeah. It's very chill. That ending gives Burks vibes. I wonder if you maybe make this bass softer here. Because I feel like this bass here, it doesn't have the same impact than when you hit it here. Because it has a hat here. The other thing I would say is here. Overall, like the hat, I feel like could get filtered, or something can happen to this hat so that it's kind of, it's not so distinctively dry. Like, this feels like it's popping out in the mix in a very forward way, and I think it's kind of doing the area a disservice. It's doing your drop later a disservice because it then feels like it's much lower energy. Here as well, it feels like the build is a little doing a little too much. Like here, this snare build, my thought process behind this is, how can I make this roll over slowly? Because this isn't like we're building up to like the big impact on the first hit of the drop. It's like yeah, we want to build up some loose tension, but tension that kind of is like, you know, calling attention is almost wrong because we're not like sitting here being like, oh, we're waiting. It's more like, we're kind of going somewhere and we're letting this thing sort of drag us. And this feels like it's pushing rather than dragging. And I don't know if that's helpful or makes any sense, but it feels like it's directing you very clearly, whereas I feel like kind of just let the arrangement slowly, pull you along and be like, okay, we're kind of going in this direction. And then there's the space and you get this. And here I would also maybe see if there's anything you can do in the pre-drop to kind of give it this, again, like building up to roll over, kind of like a whale rolls over in the water, or a ship that capsizes, kind of just like, whoa. Or you can bring the hats forward and then it's a little more like, we are in the drop now. Other than that, I feel like I like everything. The only thing is like a big question mark for me is like maybe this specifically has like quite a bright high end, so I wonder if maybe you can add just like a little bit of chorus to get that width. Because it's so clearly just a completely different sound. And it feels like it's a little bit outside of the world that you're creating with the entire sound palette. So maybe a little bit of chorus. Yeah, it won't sound as like crispy and clean. But I think in return, it will sound much more natural if you go away from the track and then come back after a few days and listen to it again. I think it'll sound more cohesive. It won't sound like such an insane like switch up. Or alternatively, if you want to keep it like that, delay would be great here. In fact, delay, I think even on top of a chorus would be great. But I think delay might even be a better option because you'll get that. Delay will help it feel spacey and not make it so dry and in the front. Delay will help you sort of let the track, let the ARP spread out a bit, occupy some more stereo moving space. Because it's kind of imagine if it was just like that. The fact that the first hit will repeat then by the third or the fourth note will kind of might just help fit it into the mix. Yeah, I'm definitely so tired. I'm starting to yap. Oh, brother. That's kind of it. Everything else is a good. Oh, maybe the kick though. I do wonder if the kick is like just too soft, but I also feel like stylistically it works. Let me see, did you type and I'm just not seeing it? I don't think so though. No, my chat is dead as fuck. It's all good though. Bro, listening to Skrillex lately, SMH. Right. Who is this guy, man? Oh! Yeah, bro, you are Skrillex. Unreal. Unreal, man. Tell me, how the fuck am I ever supposed to open FL Studio again after listening to this? Explain this shit to me. How am I supposed to open my DAW and think, yeah, I'm gonna make music today. I'm gonna have a good time knowing that this motherfucker is out there using the same DAW as I am. No way. You ain't gonna catch me doing that anymore. God damn. Yeah, that's unreal. I bet you if you release this on SoundCloud right now, all the like festival trap homies who follow like the Sable Valley shit will probably crawl out the woodwork and be like, Real Skrillex, Real Skrillex. The only thing I can really say feedback-wise is like the snare could be metalier. I think the snare is somehow a little too atonal. And I think the snare is fine, but it just needs like the extra layer of like, it needs to punch through a little more. So it needs that chung, that top end to do something. It needs that top end to do something. Just do something. Alright, gang, my brain is fried. I think that was the last one. I think there's the last one. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was a good stream. And now I need to sleep. Was Masa EP? Let me check the uniform last time. Yeah, we're good. We got him all. Alright, bet. Thank you much for sending in the bangers, keeping me awake. This was crazy. We had only bangers today. Literally first track banger, last track banger, everything else in the middle also amazing. But it's so crazy what like two completely different styles of banger. And then unreal. Absolutely unreal. Alrighty. GG's everybody, good stream. I'll see you guys again next week. For those of you listening, I probably won't be here tomorrow doing a sample flip. Depends on the timing because I'm doing some acting tomorrow. So unfortunately the schedule is kind of short notice. So yeah, don't think I'll be able to do it. Depends on the time though. Maybe. But it'll be kind of spur of the moment and later than normal. But anyways, goodbye. Peace.